Excuse me if I can't recall your name. Old age is wreaking havoc on my brain. But there's one reel left in this movie, and you can have a leading role. But go easy on me, honey. I'm not 50 anymore. Well, a label says they'll sign me if I'm prepared to hit the road. But I don't drive in them blizzards, can't lift them heavy loads. But if it's a short itinerary, if we can keep it close to home, if we go easy on me, honey, I'm not 50 anymore. Go easy on me, Steve. Tell all the pretty women I'm not the man I was before. I don't get out like I used to. Is there a washroom on this floor? I'm blind without my glasses. Just point me to the door. And go easy on me, honey. I'm not 50 anymore. Excuse me if I can't recall your name. Old age is wreaking havoc on my brain. But there's one reel left in this movie, and you can have a leading role. If you go easy on me, honey, I'm not 50 anymore. Not 50 anymore.
There's a brand new album out right now. It's Brian Blain, and the album is called I'm Not 50 Anymore. And we're happy to chat with Brian. Brian, thanks for coming on and chatting with us.
My pleasure.
Well, first of all, I've got to go to the title of the album and the song. I just love it. And I'm Not 50 Anymore. It's injected a lot of humor into it. I love that. And I think that's great.
Well, it's time, these times we can use a little bit of lightness, wouldn't you say? It's been a lot of heavy stuff going on all around us, and I thought, initially when I made this record, I was so focused about the song, the water song, and the water crisis, and I really wanted to try to cast a little light from my corner of the world on this world global water crisis, which seemed like horrible. 3 billion people affected, and then we get hit by an even more prominent crisis in our face, as it were. And so I'm glad I had some more lighthearted material on the album that I can focus on, you know. And I'm not 50 anymore. Yeah, that just came up out of nowhere, that tune. I can't even remember. Somebody might have said that expression to me. And, you know, with the little notepad, I put something together.
What I really like about your album is it's quite diverse. There's all kinds of different tunes on there, different themes. You always include a French song, and I know there's a bit of a story behind that. You want to tell our audience about that?
Well, I'm originally from Quebec. It really was wonderful living in Quebec and being able to live in both those cultures. It was almost like you could cross the street and all of a sudden you were in a different language, but it was more than a different language. It was a whole different world. And I had a foot on each side of the street there. And then moving in Ontario, less so, but putting a French tune and trying to write French tunes is my way of trying to hold on to that part of my history.
And you also include a Tai Chi tune, which is sort of a meditation song.
Yeah, that was, you know, I've been doing Tai Chi ever since early 80s, I guess. And I recommend it to anyone, especially over 50, you know, because I'm pretty sedentary lifestyle here. And, but the Tai Chi at least keeps me flexible and I thank my friend Dermy, long gone now. He was a sailor who learned Tai Chi from a grocer and then taught it to me. And I've never been to a Tai Chi class or a group or anything. I've just been doing it on my own. And I probably have a very bad, my own version of it, but it works for me. You know, it keeps everything flexible. And so this 10-minute track, I got to tell you, it was recorded so long ago. We were making my album called Overqualified for the Blues. And those were the days I was signed to a record label, and we were in a big studio in Montreal, and we had a budget, imagine that. And we had basically finished the album, and we had one day left in the studio, and that was the day the president of the record label wanted to come and be at a session and drop in. And so we really didn't have much to do, and I was just me and Michael Jerome Brown in the studio, and I said, well, let play something with this, you know. And I just really that was quite spontaneous. I made that up, and we stretched it out. We played for 10 minutes, and he then went overdubbed a couple of instruments, some mandolin and some slide. Even if you're not doing the Tai Chi, it could be a beneficial thing. Odd to put that at the end of a blues album, but hell, I
It
guess that,
works, I'll tell you, because I got into it big time, and I was just almost drifting away listening to it. It was great.
that's the whole idea. We need to drift away a little more.
Now I've got to read a quote that I saw on, I guess, your website, and it was talking about you, and it said, basically, now here's something you don't hear every day: a blues man singing the blues about how lousy the blues singing business is these days.
You know, I was always a bit of a whiner about this. The first song I ever wrote, well, I can't say the first song I ever wrote, but it might have been the sixth or seventh song I ever wrote, was a little talking blues and was called The Story of the Magic Pick. And I was thinking of it as a children's song. And it was actually released back in the 70s on a label called Good Noise. Even a musical got created by someone that it spun off. I wrote the musical, and it was put on stage in Lennoxville a couple of times, called The Curse of the Magic Pick. And that was the beginning of my tendency to whine about the music business, you know. And there was a lot of other songs, like there's one called Blues is Hurting. If you go onto YouTube and look up Blues is Hurting, Pat Carey plays a phenomenal sax solo on that. It was recorded at the Silver Dollar, and the TBS put that on a compilation CD as well. And yeah, I could make a whole album of whining songs about how bad it is in the blues business these days. But who thought it would get this bad?
That's for sure. Again, the album is I'm Not 50 Anymore. Brian, where can folks get a hold of this?
It will be up on Bandcamp, my page, brianblain.bandcamp.com, and that will be starting Friday. Friday's the official release. It'll be on Spotify and iTunes and all the other usual places. But on Bandcamp, I haven't quite set it up yet, but I think you'll be able to actually order physical CDs there too. Or you could
Well,
track me down, Brian Blain at gmail.com. And if you want a CD, I don't have them printed yet, but that will all happen in the next couple of weeks.
well, we wish you the best, and we encourage our listeners to buy physical CDs because the musicians need to have that income coming in.
A little cash flow won't hurt. Yeah.
Well, Brian, thank you so much, and we will keep in touch and hope to see you live one of these days.
All right, Ken. Thank you. Keeping the blues alive. Okay, well, Gary Kendall has joined me now. And Gary, I'm so happy that you were able to take some time to pop in. I was thinking today, you were a big part of getting this album off the ground, and when I thought back about it, like you being a bass player, and like if I think back to the first album I made here, it was Victor Bateman that initiated the whole thing. He got me over to a friend's place. We made a demo, and then we made a record. And then the last album, New Folk Blues, it was George Kohler. It was him that we did that live gig, and then that turned into an album. And now I have to thank you for giving me a little nudge to get that thing done. You would have nudged me to wrap it up a little sooner. How long ago was that when we first talked about this record? Gosh, it's more than a year at least, eh?
Yeah, I'd say a nudge is putting it politely. I guess at some point I must have said to you, like, get to work. Why don't you just do it?
Well,
And if I remember correctly, that's when I started coming over to your house and you would play me the songs. And, for me, that's always the maybe that's why other bass players, maybe that's a bass player thing. When you want to make something happen for yourself, you got to give the creative people a bit of a shove, get them rolling with their music so you can jump in and play, right? And
yeah.
so I remember coming over to your house and you playing me some of your demos, and some of them you'd email over to me, and I was hearing all of these different tracks, and
There was, I had in mind a couple of tunes that I wanted to go in and do them at your studio with Else Too Young and all. And one of them you kind of said, wait a minute, how about that other one that you called American Dream and that I called the Not Worried Blues? And
yeah,
it is now officially called Not Worried Blues brackets An American Dream.
right,
So
yeah,
I've encompassed. But what was it about that song that drew your attention? Because I got to say, I just got my first review, Brad Wheeler, and he totally understood that song, like that persona that I was trying to create. I forget his exact phrasing of it, like some hapless fool or whatever, somebody that just can't see the writing on the wall or whatever it was, and
yeah.
but
I think that's what got me too. The story that the song was telling. There was really something there, and it was there was nothing I can compare it to.
well,
You know,
that's a good thing. That's the best
yeah,
compliment you could give a guy, a
yeah.
songwriter, isn't it?
Very original song.
Yeah.
Like a lot of your stuff. I mean, even going back to you know the Ghost of Clinton's Tavern and other your older songs. That are all um, they're unique. Like
Yeah.
you can't say, well, Brian lifted that from there, or Brian lifted that from there. There's no outside reference.
No,
It's
I
you.
said.
You got that to claim. That's for sure. Is that everything you're doing is has your own stamp on it, and I don't think you can take any one of your songs from any of your records and say that Well, that sounds like that because they don't.
Yeah. Well, that's a beautiful thing to hear, and thank you so much for being part of it and putting your energy and love into it. I work hard on the factory floor. I'm getting overtime and ready for more. I'll see a pension and a good vacation, and I'm not worried about the automation. They say we might be going back to coal, but just like in the days of old, we'll be happy. Hey, Ken Whiteley, how you doing?
I am well in these strange times. I feel very fortunate, really, in so many ways. And
Yeah, I'm glad you could take a moment in your busy schedule to connect with me here. Thanks so much for your participation on You Are Also His Son. That was a song that we played together a couple of times, maybe, eh?
at least two or three, I would say.
And you are burning on that lap slide there. That is really lifts the whole thing up.
Well, you know, Brian, I've been a big fan of what they call sacred steel for a long time, and I've had the privilege of playing with Calvin Cook, who's sometimes called the Muddy Waters of Sacred Steel. I played with Calvin a bunch of times, and the Campbell brothers, played with them. And there's a great woman from Toledo, Ohio, Nikki D. Brown, and the Sisters of Thunder. So I've had, you know, I've been exposed to a lot of that sacred steel, and I just thought that kind of thing would be, not that I claim myself to be a full-on official sacred steel artist, but I certainly listen to and enjoy and have absorbed a lot of that music. And really, it's not that different from playing, you know, slide like on an acoustic slide, right? It has a lot of you know, a lot of the feel things are similar, and you get great sustain on a lap steel, which I love. So it's always, it's so much fun, and I think that's a great song, Brian. You've got a bunch of great songs on this album.
If you read your scripture, no matter what faith, it's all about loving. It's not about hate. Nothing is certain. David Vest, I'm so glad to connect with you now. And as I was, you know, thinking about you today, I kind of think maybe the first time I met you was that time at the Blues Summit when I asked you, did you feel like come and play piano on a record I was going to make? Is it possible? Had we met before that, you think?
You know, I don't think so. We may have. My short-term memory is not what it used to be.
Well, likewise.
And I think that might have been the first time.
And it was, you know, that was the first actual session for this whole project. I mean, up until then, this was just rolling in my head, and I had done some backing tracks in my basement, which is what you played to. But I hadn't really taken this project to the next level of actually booking a studio and laying down some real tracks. And you know, I think I might have mentioned to you that it changed a lot from that moment too, because I redid the guitar, I redid my vocal, but I kept your piano, and it's a burning piano. So that French tune, I'm telling you, man, it had a long jam at the end. You remember?
Yeah. I'm amazed you kept all that because I was hoping you would.
Well,
But,
we took it off a few other tunes, you know. I mean, it
uh,
was just like that's not the way people expect you to have a record now with a 2 minute song and then a 4 minute jam. But so a couple of the other tunes, we did cut them down. But that one, it was like, no, no, that's got to stay. And then they wanted to take off that little bit at the very end where it kind of just dribbles off. But I said, no, no, I like that too. Like,
I
leave
do too.
the
You made
whole
a good
thing,
decision.
man.
You know, I didn't have any idea just from the couple of tunes I worked on what a deep groove master you are. I mean, you've made an album here that a lot of musicians across Canada are going to be jealous of because it's got so much life and energy to it.
Well,
Um,
that's amazing. Thank you that's a beautiful thing to hear. And considering also that it was sort of made in this piecemeal way, you know.
well, we have to make it the way we can
Yeah.
right now.
And if you got the right people, it's gonna gel, you know.
Mhm.
Michelle Joseph is in the house. You were kind of the rock you were the foundation of the church that I built on not 50 anymore. I appreciate it so
Just call
much.
me Paul.
Yeah, Peter and Paul. Thanks for dropping in.
Yeah,
Are you
yeah.
getting to play a little bit these days, or is all the gigs
Well, not live,
disappeared?
not
Not
live
live.
anywhere. No, no. I've done some, adding drums to tracks in the studio, that
That
kind of
is
thing.
quite that is a real area of expertise, isn't it? Because not a lot of drummers would attempt that, you know. And now, you know, of all times, this is what everybody's having to figure out, you know, how to do things
Yeah,
piecemeal. And you
yeah,
and Margaret had a kind of a teamwork thing going, you know, where you could do the overdub, and it might be asking a lot for like a one pass of drums over a track, especially if it wasn't recorded like in a timely manner. That you had Margaret there that could just say, well, there was just that one spot in the second verse, you know, and she
yes,
would go in and
that's
jip,
right.
jip, jip, and boom,
Yeah.
then it was
Well,
fine.
but I really, right from the very beginning, I've been saying to myself, this is a really good record. I think your songwriting is really strong. You've got a good body of work, and it's well recorded.
She was a mother, a single mom making do, working at Simpsons. She's the mother I never know. Someone to lean on, someone to help you work things through. Spent her life helping others. That's the mother I never know.
Hello, everybody. Hello, Brian. Congratulations on the album. It sounds amazing. It's Clayton Doley here. I'm in Sydney, Australia right now, and I just wanted to say how glad I am and very proud that I was invited to play on Brian Blain's new album. I got to play with some of my old Toronto blues family, even if it was just virtually. It was great fun. I love Brian's songs, beautiful lyrics, beautiful production, all the best with it. I hope you win lots of awards. Take care. Hopefully we'll get to hang out again when all this is over. All right. Best of luck. Bye.
Hey, Brian. Congratulations on the release of your new recording. It was a pleasure to play on the Water Song. Great tune. And good luck with everything. Best to you.
Water, she's dying of thirst, asking why has her life been so cursed. Her children starving, she's praying for rain. Tribal war brings more hardship and pain. There's water yonder, but nothing for her. A cry in the desert, can you hear her? Donne-moi de l'eau. Donne-moi de l'eau. She's baby crying in the dark of night, mother desperate with no help in sight, hiding the child so they won't be found. No turning back, village burned to the ground. They killed her son and they raped her daughter, and it's been days since she's had a drink of water. Donne-moi de l'eau. Donne-moi de l'eau. Scat, there's water in the sink, but half the time it's not safe to drink. It's no wonder things have gone so wrong, with the water protectors all beaten down. Well, it's come to haunt us and it's gonna get worse when the so-called civilized world is dying of thirst. Donne-moi de l'eau. Donne-moi de l'eau.